We were meant for love and be loved together. All the joys and fears, all the laughs and tears, all of time and space, embracing forever. We were meant for love and be loved together. Living like a lover when we harmonize, and be loved forever when we harmonize, embracing forever, embracing forever. Forgiving prayer surrounds us. All the time we've existed together.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity Orlando. Our opening statement this morning is, "It is not I, but the Spirit within that does the work through me." Let's all affirm that together. It is not I, but the Spirit within that does the work through me. All right, let's all close our eyes, take a nice deep breath in, and let's affirm that together in the silence. And so it is. Now, if you'd like to join us, please stand and we'll sing our joy song this morning. Our first song is called Glory of Love. I'm the 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 glory of, I'm the glory of, I'm the glory of love. I'm the glory of, I'm the glory of, I'm the glory of love. I'm abundance of joy. I'm abundance of joy. I'm abundance of joy. I'm abundance of joy. I'm abundance of, I'm abundance of, I'm abundance of joy. I'm abundance of, I'm abundance of, I'm abundance of joy. Shine on the glory of God. Shine the purpose of, I'm the purpose of peace. I'm the purpose of, I'm the purpose of, I'm the purpose of peace. Shine on the glory of God. Shine on the glory, shine on the glory, shine on the glory of God. Shine on the glory, shine on the glory of
Sorry. Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm on. Sorry, I was a little slow getting up here. I'm not used to this slot. I am Reverend Bob Marshall, and I am your platform chairman for this morning. So, to all you at home, and to all of you who have gathered here, welcome. We're so glad you're with us for this Sunday morning. First, do we have any visitors with us this morning? The 1 week we didn't ask, we had them? Nope. No packets to go out then. Okay. I want to thank you all for wearing masks. We are trying to comply with the Orange County safety rules that are out, and we're trying to make it so that any of you are at home who are thinking of coming in, so that you feel safe when you're here. Okay? I understand that wearing a mask is a pain. It is for me. And by the way, we on the podium, we all wear them until we're up here where we are broadcasting. It's a pain. On the other hand, I really am firmly of the opinion, I don't wear the mask for myself. I wear it for everyone else around me. I do it as part of my recognition that I've said to so many people, for some reason, I'm not terribly worried about getting sick, but I am horribly worried about carrying it to someone else. That does seem a problem. And, okay, and I'm going to say that maybe I'm just beating a dead horse here, but I was just reading an article by one of the infectious disease specialists who put out, he said, in the next number of months, we could save 70,000 lives if more people would wear masks. Well, okay, we don't like to do that in the U.S. They've already been doing it across the world during flu season. It's been a regular event, so I guess it's our turn to catch up. In any case, Orange County requires it. We're going to comply because we appreciate being able to meet as a group, and we want the rest of you at home to feel safe in coming in and joining us if you wish to. Particularly, let's say, next week. I want to mention that next Sunday is our White Stone ceremony. And if you come, we're going to give you a white stone, that you will write your quality on that you'd like to be developing for the year. I've got a gathering of these stones at home. If you're at home, we have some suggestions because we're not going to send you a stone in the mail. So, consequently, if you're at home with us, please, you can get your own white stone. Home Depot has them. Usually you have to buy them in like a big sack. You'll have enough for 100 years. And, or you can get anything to write on, something that you could write on that you want to set on your desk, or even I think an index card would do fine too. If so, you'll need several of them because we're also going to you'll need some paper to write down your affirmations, okay? So be prepared, particularly at home. If you're coming in here, we'll provide whatever you need, okay? But if you're at home, you'll need to be prepared for next week so that you can write down the conclusions that we come during as we realign ourselves with the goals for this year. Okay, I'm getting a little carried away. We have the midweek prayer and meditation on Wednesday at 4:30 on Facebook. You can tune in at 4:30 or later on in the week. You can always pick it on. You can watch it off the website. We're continuing the food drive, and will continue as long as there is a need in our congregation or our community for food. You can bring in non-perishable food items. You can bring them in either Sunday mornings or Wednesdays from 10 to 3. Or if you get on the website and get the phone number off of there, you can call Curtis and he'll actually come pick up your donations. His number's on that website. Also, if you need help with food in any way, if you know someone who needs help, please give Curtis a call or give the church a call so we can know who we're dealing with. Curtis is in charge. He'd be your best bet. If you'd like a chaplain to call you, call or email the office. This is one of the few ways we're keeping contact with you right now, with so many of us spread out. Next Sunday, I did that one today. Reverend Ronnie will be, there she is. Okay, I was scared for a moment. Anyway, Reverend Ronnie will be speaking on the subject, just be patient. But first, of course, we have our special music, so I'm going to turn it over to the music department, and I'm going to unplug my mic, so I need somebody to kill it.
Well, out of the 200 or so songs that I've written for Unity in the last 12 years or so, I don't have one song about patience until now. So last week I sat down and wrote this one. It's called Matter of Time. I see the way that you move through my life, and I call it good. I feel the gentleness of your guiding light through me now, and I see heaven here through my eyes. No matter what comes up or what goes down, it's just a matter of time for the universe to align. It might take some time for all the good to show a sign. It's just a matter of time.
And it's precious.
I feel this feeling of love, all magnificent, omnipresent. We be patient with time. It's just a matter of time. It takes some searching for you to find what I want in this world. I have to feel it to make it mine. It's just a matter of time for the universe to align. It might take some time for all the good to show a sign. It's just a matter of time. I feel this feeling of love, all magnificent, omnipresent. We be patient with time. It's just a matter of time.
So be patient.
It's just a matter of time.
So be grateful.
It's just a matter of time.
'Cause it's precious.
It's just a matter of time. I see the way that you move.
Hang on. Got to get this thing off, and I got to fix my hair. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Brian, that was beautiful. He sent it to me this week and said, will this work? And I said, oh, yeah. It was lovely. Thank you all doing. You know, there's not a whole lot of us in the group singing, but they're pretty mighty, don't you think? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I want to tell you a little story about how I got this talk title. You know, as you know, Reverend Bob has a few more years on me in giving talks over the years, maybe 46 or so more. And so he comes out with his talk titles like 6 months in a row. I mean, literally, they're all lined up, and it's like, whoa. So for me, like, I'll go home today and say, okay, God, what's my next talk title? So after my last talk, I did exactly that, and I heard, just be patient. So I said, okay, I'll be patient, and I'll know what my talk title is. And the answer was, no, that's your talk title. So here we go. So I want to read this to you, and then Linda will put it up. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps not records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. This, of course, is from 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7. I'm sure we're all familiar with it. We've probably heard it a number of times at weddings. I know that I have, and I've used it at weddings. And yet, it's kind of like the gold standard for a wedding ceremony. And yet, how appropriate is it for us now, as always? And I thought it was very interesting that Paul used the very first word he used to describe love was patient, centered in God, one with God, to be able to hear guidance. So what I want to do, I always like to look up the definition of words before I give a talk, and I didn't realize that when you looked up at least the word patient, there's the expert definition from Google, of course, and then there's a Bible definition. Okay, so the Webster definition is able to accept or tolerate delays, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. Submit patiently to the unavoidable occurrences of life. Sound familiar? Okay, now this is the Bible definition. Forbearance or self-restraint or of not giving way to anger, even in the face of provocation. Endurance or strength. It is attributed to both God and man, and is closely related to mercy and compassion. I thought that was kind of interesting the way they put it. To me, patient makes us more connected with each other because, well, sometimes we can become impatient with ourselves as well, but usually it involves other people that we feel like are provoking us, which of course is just a reflection of our own selves. But when you're patient, it changes everything, doesn't it? When you're not patient and you're upset, your mind gets clouded. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when you get to that place when you're more centered, you're able to observe the situation from a little bit of a distance. For me, when I'm patient, I usually keep my mouth shut. It saves a lot of problems later and things I have to fix. So, it gives you that distance rather than being confused when you're right in the middle of something. It's hard to see past the end of your nose. And your hands and your heart are more open to guidance. You can hear guidance when you're a bit detached, when you step back, when you just wait before you react. From Proverbs 15:8, I found, hot tempers cause arguments, but patience brings peace. Interesting, huh? Hot tempers causes arguments. I've been there a couple of times. Lots. And, of course, Paul, being the Course in Miracles buff that he is, found this quote for me: only infinite patience brings immediate results. Susan sent it to me too. I guess I must have needed to hear this one. And patience is natural. This is a little bit further on. Patience is natural to those who trust. So Brian's song about it's a matter of time, it's being willing to just wait to hear the whole story, because most of the time we don't. And of course, the whole story according to God is a lot different than our whole story when we see just little bits and pieces. And then, of course, there's Myrtle Fillmore, to me, is the prime example of patience. When she was, I'm not going to go through the whole story because we've talked about it many times, when she was diagnosed with tuberculosis in a time when that killed people. And so she was working with her very own body and the intelligence of her body. And the one line that just jumps out at me so profoundly is she says during her healing period, I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but kept right on, both silently and aloud, declaring the words of truth until the organs of her body responded. I did not become discouraged. How easy is it to become discouraged when something we want, something we're praying for? I mean, we've prayed for 5 days. Come on, sometimes it just takes time for lots of reasons that we may not even be aware of why things are taking time. But then there's the trust. Who do we trust? Do we put our trust in outer circumstances, in people that, just like us, we have clay feet, or do we put our trust in God? In today's world, as you know, there's been a lot of fear and change and upset in the last 6 months, especially around COVID. We're still wearing our masks, and it looks like we will be. And so those of us, especially us Americans that are used to doing things our own way and, getting almost instant results, is like, when is this ever going to end? Well, maybe never. We don't know. So what? I mean, really, so what? Yeah, it's a pain. It messes my hair up. It makes it shows all my wrinkles right here. I mean, come on. That's silly, but you know what? It's the truth. And I don't need to go down the list of all the issues that have come about as a result of the changes that we've had to make, being isolated. Now we have some of us back here at church, which is just wonderful, but being at home, we're delighted that we have the live stream now and can offer that and will continue to offer that forever. But it's made us slow down. It's forced me to slow down, somebody that never slows down. And as much as I used to kind of dread it, I love it. I mean, Paul and I are very close, and we've even gotten closer in these times of spending all day together instead of me running off doing this and that and the other. Being at home, there's lots of blessings if we're willing to look at them. So let's take a minute now and look at the definition of impatience. This is from Mr. Google. The tendency to be impatient. I love the way they describe the word by using the word, but that's all right. Irritability or restlessness, frustration, agitation, nervousness. Does that sound familiar when you're in a state of impatience? And then there's the Bible definition. Not patient, not bearing with composure, intolerant, uneasy, fretful, restless because of pain, delay, or opposition, eager for change or for something expected, hasty, passionate. I can remember the days when I was never patient, and if it didn't happen, Bob talked about it last week, I believe, about forcing things to happen. We'll talk about that in a moment too, but when we're in the state of being impatient, the first thing that we don't get is any guidance, because the upset that our body feels has already cued us out. We are not tuned into anything but what we want and how we're going to get it. Kind of like a bull in a china closet, china shop. My mom used to say that all the time. So just imagine this, okay? A china shop, and a bull comes roaring through that, just smashing everything, right? And lots of things get broken. Lots of things get broken when that happens. Well, in real life, when you run over people, figuratively or not, disregard their feelings or opinions, push your way, we're going to have some damage control that we're going to have to fix later by forcing things that are not easily unfolding. And sometimes irreparable damage occurs. Things happen that you can't come back from. You really can't take back words, can you? You can apologize, you can do your best, but words hurt sometimes. They're really tough. And how do you feel when you're impatient? Maybe in the midst of being that way, you're not even aware of how you feel, but later, when you stop and you realize your heart's been racing, you're probably tense, your teeth might be clenched, your fists might be clenched. Think about open hands being receptive. Closed fists is very indicative of the rest of your body, your heart, your mind, your spirit. You're not open to hearing anything positive, anything that could help us get out of that situation. And later, afterwards, when you're thinking about what happened, you probably have a lot of regrets and, like I said, some damage control. In my life, I've had the pleasure, in quotes, hear that, of dealing with being a worrier, not a warrior, a worrier. David Owen Ritz, who is the author of Keys of the Kingdom, that program that Reverend Johannes presented in the spring. I was listening to some of the CDs recently again about how his family was a family of worriers as well. And he said that he had a black belt in worry. And I said, Oh, I think I do too. Now, over the years, David, as well as me, have worked pretty hard on not being such a worrier. And yet, it still rears its ugly face from time to time. I'm dealing with it. So about, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, woke up in the middle of the night. I know that surprises you, my friends who know me. And I was worried. I was thinking about some of the changes that are occurring in my life and what that means to me and my family. And then, of course, then my kids. And I'm thinking, and I spent literally hours praying, forgiving, letting go, asking for help to let go of this worry, to just be at peace. And by morning, by the light of day, everything looks better. I was pretty much out of it, but I wasn't back to myself yet. I still wasn't back there yet, but I knew it would come. I knew I had to be patient, but just wasn't right yet. So it just so happened on this morning that I went to a friend's house and I notarized a paper for her. And on the way back, when I turned on the car and I get into the car, the very first song that played was Home by Philip Phillips. We have sung that song many times here. But a little voice in my head said, don't sing along with it. Listen. So I'm going to read you these words that I heard when I was in a state of not being happy with myself and feeling kind of alone. Here are the words of the song. Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this... Yep, I knew it. Hang on. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone, because I'm going to make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons that fills you with fear. The trouble, it may drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone, because I'm going to make this place your home. Well, man, did I cry. Driving, crying, but the biggest thing was I felt so totally loved and cared for at that moment. And I think what allowed me to feel that and to hear those words just then was because I had decided to be patient. I knew I wasn't back to where I wanted to be, but it's like, okay, just wait. It's a matter of time. And it was an amazing experience that it still fills my heart with joy. So obviously there was no doubt where those words came from. And the timing was so impeccable. And I knew I was being taken care of. I knew it at the depth of my being. It was wonderful. So in Psalm 40, verse 1, the psalmist says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he turned toward me and heard my supplication. Now, these are Old Testament words, but it means the same thing. I was waiting patiently, and I was taken care of. In this whole psalm, he lists all of the adversities that he's been going through and all of the tough things that he's had to deal with, and yet he's hanging on knowing that if he is patient, God will hear him. Look it up, Psalm 40. It's a beautiful psalm. And then I also thought of Khalil Gibran, who's famous for his book, The Prophet. He's a Lebanese-American author from many years ago. I think he died maybe 50s or 60s. I don't know if you were able to put that up, but the quote that I liked from him was, when I planted my pain in a field of patience, it bore the fruit of happiness. Now just imagine planting your pain in a field of patience, like a crop, and it bore the fruit of happiness. That's really all we need to do. It's simple, but it isn't always easy. When we're in pain or fear or frustration or upset, it might take a while when you keep turning it over, going back to what you know, who you know. Nature models for us patience all the time. Those that are gardeners of any sort, whether it's vegetables, fruit, or flowers, you plant seeds or you plant little tiny plants, and we wait. We know that we have to wait. We have to be patient, and if you take care of them, they have the right amount of light or sunshine, they'll eventually bear fruit. You might have to deal with some bugs and stuff, but eventually you'll get your crop most of the time. A butterfly, in its early stages of being a caterpillar and then going into the chrysalis, waiting for that time when they can break out of it. And I've read up on this. The butterflies, as they develop and their wings start to grow, they have to stretch their wings out to push the chrysalis and actually break the cocoon-like around it. And it's been known that some people watching that just couldn't stand it, that helped and cut the butterfly out. The butterflies always die because they haven't had the chance to stretch their wings and prove how strong they are. We can come through any storm with God's help, learning maybe new wings that we didn't know we had before, new strengths when we open ourselves and we ask for guidance. We may be led down a different path, go a different way, instead of being upset because we can't go down the same path. And then, of course, look at our seasons. In the spring, there's beautiful growth, and summer is green and lush and beautiful, and in fall, in most places in this country, the leaves turn colors and then they drop. And then in the winter, it looks forlorn, it looks empty. If you just saw winter, you looked at the trees, you'd say they're all dead, right? They're not going to come back. But because we know that the seasons are cyclical and we have to be patient, and it's beautiful to watch, then in the spring, the green growth starts again. That's a matter of time, of course. And then, of course, my last example, there's babies, all right? Our granddaughter is pregnant. And so we know that it usually takes 9 months for a baby to mature inside the womb. And we don't always patiently wait, but we have to wait until that time. Now, if the baby decides to come early, there are repercussions that have to be taken care of because they may not be strong enough or able to survive. So there are implications of that as well. But we in society know these things, the seeds, the nature, the butterfly baby. This takes time. We don't really question that. You know, we don't have to like it, but we don't question it. But other times in our lives when we decide what we want, we might try to force things to happen. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on now. And in the next 3 to 4 months before the end of the year that I'm not about to list, that could get us very upset, that could get us frustrated and angry and upset and not knowing what we're going to do if this happens or that happens and what if and all that. Call me naive, but I don't care. God is my source. God's going to take care of me. There's a lot of things that I know we will have to handle. But worrying about them and being fearful and impatient will not solve the problems, and they will definitely make us feel worse, and we're not open to guidance. There may be things that we are guided to do in the next few months. Do this, don't do that. Watch out for this. But it's not going to happen from me worrying. I will get the guidance when I turn within and say, God, you need to help me because I can't figure this one out. We came here on this earth to become awakened. We're not here to just live this human life. This body is a shell of who we are. We are spirit. God lives within each and every one of us. We are here to evolve. The things that are occurring that are driving us nuts are the very things that we can use to learn from if we're willing. If we're willing to take that time. If we're willing to go within and ask for guidance. If we're willing to put down our anger and our frustration and our whatever is keeping you from being peaceful. And I've talked to a lot of you, and some of you are having a really, really tough time. There's only one answer, and that's go within and talk to God. That is the only answer. In Romans 12:12, Paul says, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. This is our recipe. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. This is the same verse, the same chapter where, I didn't write it down. Yes, I did. This is where he earlier has said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. One of the basics of unity. Charles Fillmore quoted him on that. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer. I don't know what my soul needs. I don't know. I have not a clue, but God knows. Be willing to trust. Be willing to be patient. There's always a lesson here. So, just quickly, what can we do? What can we do in these times? What things are there for us to do? I am a student of the Master here, and I have three steps. Decide to choose peace over everything else that upsets us. Choose peace. Breathe deeply. Walk away. Hang up the phone. Turn off the TV. But I need to know. You'll need to know what you need to know. You don't have to watch every little word. If it upsets you, if you can do it, that's fine. If it upsets you, turn it off. These patterns that we've lived with, they can be very difficult to change, but it's possible. And it's possible when we persevere, when we keep turning back to what we know is the truth. What was that scripture? Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. The second one is we must turn every situation, fear, upset, over to God. Over and over and over to God. If it's still bugging us, then we have more work to do. We need to turn it over and ask for guidance, what to do. I made myself little notes after my big notes. Not important. Remember that God can turn any situation that occurs into a blessing for us when we are willing to be open, when we are willing to say, okay, here it is, show me what is mine to do and help me see the blessing. Because if all we're going to find, if all we're looking for is the problem, guess what we see? just the problem. But when we're willing to say, show me the blessing, like the angel that wrestled with Jacob, I'm not going to let go till I get my blessing. Find the blessing. And the last one is celebrate your victories, because when we have them, we've been able to maintain our calm. We have to kind of pat ourselves on the back and encourage ourselves to keep doing that, to come back, to remember we're on the right track. And just as an aside, and it's not one of the steps, don't pray for patience. When you pray for patience, you will immediately get lots of things that show up in your path to deal with. Just affirm, I am patient, I am patient, I am patient. That's a little bit of a joke, but not really. Okay, so let's take a few moments now, and we'll take what we've learned here into meditation. So if you will, just take a nice deep breath. Those of you at home, those of you who are here. And as you do, just leave all the stuff that I was making reference to, the things that upset us and the chaos in our lives. Just let that be. Put it aside for now. And move within your heart to that special place within us, that place where God resides always, where the light shines within us all the time. The space, the place that feels like home. And if those thoughts that bother you come up, just push them away with your hand like you would a cobweb. And say, God is my source. There is one presence and one life. God, the good, omnipotent. I feel that peace within me. I feel that peace spread throughout my body as I allow myself to be aware of the God within me. As I feel that presence of love that loves me, that loves you more than words could ever say. Feel the warmth of the light of God within you, warming your heart, making you aware of so much more, knowing that you are one with this presence at the core of your being. I am one with God. We allow this presence to surround our whole body from the inside out and our outer body as well. Feel it expanding beyond the boundaries of the limits of our body. And around your home, the room you're in, the place you're staying. Warming it, making a presence of home in your home, the real home, the God presence. Encompassing anyone that lives there, pets or animals. Out beyond our home to our city. Stretch it out to our state, our country, and our world. This is our temporary home, but that space within is our true source, our true home. That is always available to us as we turn within and we patiently wait and trust that in good time all will be revealed. So we say thank you. Thank you, God, for the presence within us and around us in our world. For your presence ever guiding us, leading us, teaching us, loving us. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. So now it's our offering time. I ask the usher to come forward for here at church in person, and those of you at home, as you know, you can go to our, when we're all finished, you can go to our webpage, and when you turn on unityorlando.org, immediately a red Donate Now button will show up. You don't have to scroll down anymore. You could, but it's right there. You can donate with a credit card or PayPal, or if you'd like to mail in a check, that's wonderful too. We are so appreciative of your presence, and your support for us during this time. So if you will, say with me the blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. Thank you, God. Amen.
My love is bigger than the sea. My love is big as God's can be. My love can span eternity.
That was a long let it go.
That was great. That was great. Thank you, guys. So we just have a couple of things to close off with. Bob already told you, Reverend Bob told you, next week is the White Stone ceremony. So if you want to come, that would be great. If you don't, get yourself prepared. Thank you again. Thank you so much for your presence and your support. You've helped us through a very tough time, and we're doing really well because of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will not be singing the peace song online because we can't. YouTube and all that stuff, we won't have to go there. So now, if you will, those of you here, would you please stand and we'll sing the prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Thank you.